Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your sun in Cancer and your moon in Virgo. And this is a double feminine energy that lends itself to being much more, I would say, a homebody, domestic goddess, or god, I guess, if you're a man. Um, so loving those kinds of things like cooking and chilling at home, not necessarily loving big crowds of people and loving to be around family, close friends, that sort of thing. Uh, these signs, being feminine signs, are compatible with one another. They form a sextile. Officially, that will be if they are within a certain degree span of one another. But just by virtue of water in the Cancer and Earth with Virgo, they do harmonize. And what this can mean is that when you're pursuing your goals, which we associate with the sun sign, the emotional nature is cooperative with it, meaning that there's not this kind of clash between head and heart, where the person wants to accomplish certain things out in the world, but they have that side of themselves that is holding them back, either emotionally or with inner goals. So, this can mean that you're able to, set out to do something and accomplish it. And what kind of things would you like to accomplish? Well, since we would say that Cancer is in the driver's seat, being the sun sign, the person, first of all, being a parent may be very important. Of course, that is not a paid position. That isn't something that people call a career, but it is an aspiration, and it can be motherhood, or we could say parenthood, is sometimes called the greatest job that there is, or the most important job that there is, I mean. And I would agree with that, raising another human being in a way that is the best for their potential is amazing. So that is one of the things you might want to be. And if you're a man, even though you can't give birth, despite what might be going around these days, you still can be an active parent, and you might even be a stay-at-home dad where you raise your child at home. And um, other than that, I really think of Cancer as a teacher sign, and Virgo certainly is, because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so it has that intellectual component. So, especially with early childhood, meaning preschool, kindergarten, and maybe the early grades, first and second grades, you might be doing that type of teaching. Because it's like being a parent in the sense, or a mother, mothering, nurturing children because they are very young. I could see this combination being the owner of a health food restaurant or something like that, because I think Cancer rules the stomach. It may have something to do with nourishment. I know this Cancer is the fourth house. I know the second house has to do with food, but there's something about nourishment that I think the fourth house connects to. And Virgo can be health, is Virgo rules the house of health, the sixth house, and herbalism, so natural foods, vegetarianism. So I could see something like that. I have the moon in Virgo myself, and that's always been an interest of mine. And so whether it's a health food store, a restaurant, especially a restaurant where you're feeding people, but it's a healthy kind of um, restaurant. I could see something along those lines, maybe a smoothie shop. Even because Cancer rules the fourth house, which deals with home and family, and real estate can be part of the fourth house. And the minimalism that I associate with Virgo, I could see tiny homes, being some kind of like an eco village type of interests that deal with the ecological side of things, but also the minimalist aspect. Cancer is a sign that is, I feel, very fiscally conservative and tends to, more frugal, not free spending necessarily. So, same with Virgo. So, I could see somebody who wants to have a smaller footprint on the environment, but also with their own personal life. But yes, anything that has to do with housing, real estate, that is Cancer. Yes, selling real estate, because Virgo being ruled by Mercury, it could be sales and things like that, and using one's verbal skills to be able to do that. And of course, Cancer is next to Gemini, so you might be a sun in Cancer and you have the moon in, I mean, not the moon, Mercury in its own sign of Gemini, and you'd be very good at that kind of thing, of being a salesperson. So, in terms of relationships, this is definitely a combination that has to watch out for codependency. Both of these signs, well, first of all, Cancer as a sun sign is a water sign. So there tends to be this emotional, uh, with the less balanced Cancers, there's an emotional neediness. And with the moon in Virgo, the person may be very perfectionistic, hard on themselves, maybe was criticized quite a bit as a child, because the moon can connect with the mother and how the mother treated the child, or their basic nature themselves. Not necessarily what sun sign they had or have, but the kind of treatment they gave to the child, and it can be always finding fault. And so Virgo, already being a perfectionist, with the moon sign, it can take it to a whole other level and can make a child grow up feeling very self-conscious that they're doing something wrong. And as an adult, that's hard to shake off. Well, with the sun in Cancer, and Cancer being a water sign, there's something funny about Cancer, and I mean funny as in strange. Um, where Cancer people tend to be very afraid of being ridiculed. There's like, I don't know exactly what word I can use to describe that. If you would say it's a form of egotism or not, but I mean, because it's human nature. Who wants to be ridiculed? Nobody wants to be ridiculed. But this sense of fear that they are going to be ridiculed can lead them to be quite um, touchy in terms of how other people, interact with them, where they might take offense way too easily. And with the moon in Virgo, this can just exacerbate that, because they already have probably low self esteem to some degree. So, this is not a combination with a lot of confidence and self esteem. So, that might be an area that you have to work on. And the danger is that such a person can easily get involved in relationships where they're trying to get somebody to love them by doing things for them. And typically, I could totally see this combination treating their partner like a child. And in the extreme case, it is almost like a parent child relationship. They may be supporting them financially, they may be cooking all of their food, driving them places, whatever, that kind of thing, where it's just um, they're doing all of that and they're doing it. They may not realize why they're doing it, but they're trying to keep that person close to them by doing for them what that person needs to do for themselves. The same thing can happen when they have children, where they can be overprotective, and really it can be a form of creating dependency. Yeah, I mean, with the other person, it's dependency as well. Now, this is not going to be true 100% of the time. So if this is not how you behave in relationships, don't get it, all bent out of shape. But I always look at the worst case scenario of what can happen. I do think that if the Cancer person is balanced, they can surely have a very loving nature, and they can have a great relationship with another person because their emotions, having the moon in Virgo can allow them to be pragmatic, emotionally, not to get carried away, because Cancer does tend to do that. And so it can be a nice balance, harmonizing balance, and they can not just be sentimental and romantic, but they can also see things realistically and possibly, um, when they're choosing a partner, you find somebody who really is compatible with them. Look to the rising sign, because some of what I'm saying may not seem readily apparent. For instance, if you have fire as your rising sign, but even air, which is masculine energy as well, there could be a lot more extroverted tendencies, because that sun and moon can be shy, but the rising sign can be how you behave with others and people's first impression of you. And when you're younger, the rising sign might be more prominent. So what if your rising sign is Leo, and with the sun in Cancer, you might even have inner planets like Mars and Leo, and that can definitely overshadow the more timid sun and moon combination that is present. And you might be more bold, or you have Aries rising or Sag and boisterous, and people think that you're the life of the party. And when they get you alone or they get in a relationship with you, they're like, whoa, that was false advertising. This person is a homebody. They don't even like to go to parties. They just did that because they were looking to meet somebody and get in a relationship, and now they never want to go out. And so if you tend to attract these fire or air signs, and they are more into the worldly pursuits, like going to parties and doing all that extroverted stuff, you might be incompatible. So you have to make sure that if you give off those, uh, for lack of a better word, ballsy vibes, and or more extroverted vibes, that you really let the other person know who you are, that it's not really a mask, that is kind of that false advertising. So anyway, I think that this combination might be understated, but very in tune with the finer, with things in life that have to do with. Also, yeah, like for some reason I was thinking of growing, like agriculture, but like floral arrangements, or gardens, growing things. One more thing that I think that you would be really good, you might gravitate towards, is the medical profession, like nursing, taking care of people, nurture, taking care of people. Uh, Virgo rules the sixth house of health. Ideally, because I think that Virgo is more alternative medicine, as you get older, if you are in the mainstream medical profession, that you might gravitate towards more either natural side of things or even energy medicine, the form of Reiki or things of that nature, because Cancer is a water sign, very intuitive and might be might sense energy very well and things like that. So that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.